The Griffins are swooping down on the Panthers, but will the Panthers be ready for them? Find out next on Quiz Kids.
It's the Bay Area Quiz Kids. And now, the best host on the West Coast, Brad Friedman.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Quiz Kids. We have another great show for you. 4 great teams, 2 great matches. Here are the teams for the first match. From Crystal Springs, Upland, the Griffins. And from Burlingame High School, the Panthers. Welcome, Annabelle and gentlemen. Let's get started right away with the first toss-up question. Here we go. The tennis court oath took place in 1789, a few weeks before the storming of the Bastille. In what country did both... Yes, Drew?
France.
Correct. For 25 points, in 1789, Louis XVI also reconvened which legislative assembly that had not met since 1614? You can talk it over.
The Magna Carta?
No, it was the Estates Generales. My Pepe Le Pew. Here comes the next toss-up. The Pit and the Pendulum and the Cask of Amontillado are 2 stories. Andrew?
Edgar Allan Poe.
Correct. For 25 points, Roderick buries Madeline only for her to rise from the crypt as her family home crumbles in which Poe story?
The House of the Fall of Usher.
No, I'm sorry, it's The Fall of the House of Usher. Here's your next toss-up. The Kojiki creation story forms the basis of one country's religion. Which country's indigenous religion is Shinto? Andrew?
Japan.
Yes. For 25 points, the Shinto deity Amaterasu represents which celestial body?
The sun.
That's right. For 50 points, which Egyptian pharaoh, the father of Tutankhamun, introduced a monotheistic religion based upon a single sun god?
Ramses II.
No, and it's funny because they give me a little pronunciation thing, and they did it in hieroglyphics, so I don't know. Akhenaten. Let's just take a break, all right, and meet the players. And we'll start with Crystal Springs, Upland, and Annabelle Tao. You've been playing the violin for 6 years, and you say you have a big audition coming up.
Yeah, it's on Friday. It's for the Peninsula Youth Orchestra.
Well, break a string. Good luck to you there. That's wonderful. I played that instrument very badly for many years. Andrew McMillan, you like movies.
Yes.
I remember that. And what's your favorite film?
12 Angry Men.
Why is that?
Henry Fonda's performance is outstanding.
Well, it is. There's no doubt about that. Elliot Owen, you talked last week about your exciting experience with robotics, and you have a reason for robotics doing so well.
Yes, one of our sponsors gave us a desktop CNC wire bender. It allows us to bend steel rods at very precise angles, and that made our robot very light. It also lets us make very cool shades and decorations.
You don't have to tell me. I have 3 of them and 4 pairs of glasses just like that. And good luck to both of us for that. Burlingame Panthers, Jacob Cohen. You play trombone. We got a very musical group up there. You play trombone in 3 bands at Mills. And what's your favorite band to play in?
Yeah, at Burlingame I played...
I keep saying Mills. Isn't that... We're going to have to retake all of this. At Burlingame, I'm so sorry. You're my rival, you know, and I don't see Burlingame. I just see a blur. All right. Jacob, what do you play trombone in?
I play in the jazz band. That's my favorite band. But we do have to meet at 7 in the morning every day.
You pay to play, don't you, Jacob?
Yeah, we have some really good players.
Yeah. Elliot Kane, you play guitar.
Yes.
For a year.
Yeah.
What do you like to play?
I like classic rock, like Led Zeppelin, and I'm really enjoying it, and I'm having a great time.
Good, good. You look like a classic rocker to me, you know? Drew Ehrlich, you take part in a Model UN outside of school,
Yes.
and you recently had a very exciting experience in Boston.
Yes, recently the group I do called League of Creative Minds got to travel to MIT to participate in a conference, and it was my first time going to Boston, and it was really nice there.
Wow, you said it helped you with your speech writing.
Yes,
Good for
it did.
you. That was an exciting experience. Let's get right back to the game with our next toss-up question, you guys. Ned Land and Pierre Aronnax escape from a submarine when it enters the Maelstrom whirlpool near Norway, in which Jules Verne novel? Elliot.
10,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
No, you can steal.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
That's right. For 25 points. Which captain of the Nautilus is the son of an Indian Raja?
I've read the book.
The captain of the Nautilus.
Captain Phillips.
No, it's Captain Nemo. Captain Nemo. Captain Phillips had a different experience. All right. Here's our next toss-up. In 1864, this Austrian Archduke was made Emperor of Mexico. Who was that? Yes, Andrew?
Maximilian.
Right. For 25 points, Maximilian was kept in power by which country's military?
France.
That is right. And for 50 points, Maximilian's overthrow came at the hands of which five-term president from the state of Oaxaca? Andrew, your answer.
Bolivar.
Juarez, Benito Juarez. The next toss-up. Trypsin and amylase are biological catalysts. Elliot.
Enzymes.
Right. For 25 points, what's the name for the site on an enzyme that binds to the substrate?
Active site.
Correct. And for 50 points, what is the process that may be competitive or non-competitive by which another substance prevents an enzyme from binding to its proper substrate?
Inactivation.
No, it's something we haven't been feeling during this game. Inhibition. Inhibition. Next toss-up. It passes through Switzerland, Austria, France, Germany, and the Netherlands. What's this river that's paired with, yes, Andrew?
The Rhine.
Correct. For 25 points, at the Dutch port of Rotterdam, the Rhine flows into what sea?
The North Sea.
Yes. And for 50 points, the Rhine also traverses this alpine lake near the point where Germany, Austria, and Switzerland meet. It was the site of a 1414 church council. Your answer.
Lake Geneva.
Lake Constance. Next toss-up. John Adams and Charles Pinckney were members of which political party formed, yes, Andrew?
Federalist.
Right, for 25 points. William Henry Harrison and Henry Clay were supporters of what party that opposed Andrew Jackson?
The Whigs.
Right, and for 50 points, Peter Cooper and James B. Weaver were presidential candidates of which party that championed currency not backed by any precious metal?
Oh, that was silver. The Populist Party.
They were the Greenback Party. Your toss-up. The two upper second incisors of elephants' teeth form what characteristic feature of most elephants? Drew.
Tusks.
Correct, for 25 points. Which word derived from the melding of two Hindi words refers to someone who trains and drives elephants?
Polo player?
No, it's a mahout. A mahout. Here's the next toss-up. Which anti-communist leader is the only Pole to have held the office of Pope? Andrew?
Benedict XVI.
Nope. You can steal, Burlingame.
Pius X?
No, that's such a good guess. It's John Paul II. That is the end of the round. 30 for Burlingame, 135 for Crystal Springs. I'll be right back with these teams. We're back, and we have the coaches from both teams here on stage with us. Let's give them a hand. First from Crystal Springs, Miss Kelly Sortino. And from Burlingame High School, Mr. Dave Sullivan. Thank you, coaches, for all you do. Burlingame, you want to catch up, and all you have to do is answer some questions. There are 3 categories, each with 7. You need 4 correct answers to take the lead. All you have to do right now is pick the category, and today's categories are off to college, 12th year, and the ologies.
Off to college.
Off to college. Which state contains these pairs of colleges or universities? We're looking for the state name, okay? Ball State and Notre Dame.
Indiana.
That is right. Princeton and Rutgers.
New Jersey.
Correct. Tulane and Grambling State.
Louisiana.
Louisiana is correct. Wake Forest and Appalachian State.
That's North Carolina, is it?
Pennsylvania?
It's North Carolina. Gonzaga and Walla Walla.
Washington.
Washington, you've taken the lead. George Mason and Old Dominion. Who's deferring to you, Elliot? Your answer.
Virginia.
That is right. Finally, the Citadel and Clemson.
South Carolina?
That is right. Right. You have 210, and Crystal Springs is going to have to work to win. So which category would you like? You guys, 12th year or the ologies? First, you have to pick the category.
12th year.
12th year. The answers are all years ending in 12. It helps to guess the century to figure out the year for these activities. In what year ending in the digits 12 did the following actions happen, all right? French troops entered Moscow in?
1812.
Correct. Martin Luther received his doctorate in?
1412.
1512. 1412, he was just a student. John Rawle first exported his improved tobacco.
1612.
Right. Constantine, I think you're going to win if you get this one right. Constantine won at Milvian Bridge after seeing a vision of a cross.
1012.
It was 312. 312. The Mayan long count calendar completed a cycle.
2012.
That is right. You won the game. Congratulations, Crystal Springs. Good, well played, Burlingame. Don't go away. We'll be right back with one more match. We are back with two new teams, and this will be quite a matchup. Over here, we have the Archbishop Reardon Crusaders. And they're taking on the Mills High School Vikings. I wonder who would have beat out in a real matchup with the Crusaders and the Vikings. They're both pretty bloodthirsty groups. We'll find out here how bloodthirsty you can be as we begin with our first toss-up question. Good luck, teams. This country's Francisco Madero issued the 1910 Plan of San Luis Potosi. American troops intervened in what countries? Yes, Jason.
Mexico?
Right. For 25 points, the 1916 intervention was an attempt to apprehend which Mexican revolutionary who had crossed the border to raid Columbus, New Mexico?
Pancho Villa.
Correct. For 50 points, Villa served as governor of which Mexican state across the Rio Grande from El Paso, Texas? Your answer, Jason.
Baja California.
No, it was Chihuahua. Chihuahua. Here's your next toss-up. This scientist compared the result of an experiment to firing a 15-inch shell at a piece of tissue paper. Yes, Isaac?
Newton.
No. And having it come back and hit you. Who disproved the plum pudding model with his gold foil experiment?
Wait.
You could talk it over, yes.
Rutherford.
I think it's Rutherford.
Rutherford.
Yes, Ernest Rutherford. For 25 points, which Danish physicist modified Rutherford's model of the atom by putting the electrons into circular orbits around the nucleus?
This was Bohr.
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 Yes, and for 50 points, which atomic level unit of length equal to 1/10 of a nanometer is named for this Swede who pioneered spectroscopy? Oh.
Swede scientist. Page. I don't know any.
Yeah, your time is up, Jason. Your answer?
Einstein.
That's okay, I could say it. Angstrom. Next toss-up. Organic chemists often write ETOH to indicate the molecule CH3CH2OH. Yes, Julia.
Glucose.
No. What is that intoxicating compound, also called grain alcohol, called?
Ethanol.
Yes. For 25 points, ethanol commonly performs which role? The substance in which a solute is dissolved. Your answer?
Solvent.
Yes. For 50 points, ethanol and water exhibit what ability to mix in any proportion to form a homogeneous liquid?
Solubility.
No, miscibility. Miscibility. Next toss-up. It was inspired by one of Shakespeare's most famous plays. Maria and America are two numbers from which Leonard Bernstein musical?
West
Evan.
West Side Story.
Yes. For 25 points, which operatic comedy by Giuseppe Verdi is named after a fat, cowardly knight from The Merry Wives of Windsor and Henry IV?
Falstaff.
Yes, and for 50 points, Titania and Oberon, the fairy rulers in A Midsummer Night's Dream, lent their names to the first two moons of which planet?
Saturn.
No, Uranus. Uranus. And we are tied at 50 points each. Let's take a moment and say hi to our teams. And we'll start with the Archbishop Reardon Crusaders and Evan Fonten. You are a competitive archer.
Indeed so. I've been doing archery for a couple years now, and I mostly compete at the local level, but I have done a variety of regional tournaments as well. I use a compound bow, which is similar to a normal old-fashioned bow like you'd see in Robin Hood,
Wow.
but it has mechanical parts which improve accuracy.
And you said you could shoot an apple off someone's head at 30 feet.
Meters.
30 meters. All right, I'll pay you $5 to do that off my producer's head after the show. Brian Conway, you were part of the Speech and Debate Club. And is there a particular category of activity that you personally take part in more than others?
Yes, I participate in the type of speech known as original advocacy, which is basically writing a speech to advocate for a specific piece of legislation in Congress.
Oh,
such
cool.
As,
So you're going to become a politician and convince all of us to follow your lead.
No, actually, I have no interest in being a politician.
That's even better. Isaac Mai, one of your many interesting hobbies is photography. Your dad got you into that.
Yep.
You talked at length about the kind of camera you had, and I will spare the audience this technical debate. But what do you like to take pictures of?
Initially, I liked macro photography, but then later on, my dad introduced me to landscape photography.
Landscapes. I've heard of that word. Cool. Nice. You get to travel around and take
Yeah.
pictures of things. That's nice. I'd like one. Jenny Shen, you're very funny. You said you do a lot of interesting things to relieve your teenage angst, and one of them is to write poetry.
Yeah.
Is it sad poetry?
No, it's just things I observe maybe or I just think about.
Do you rhyme or do you just do free?
It's free verse, yeah.
Free verse. Cool. Very nice. Jason Chun, you're really into symphonic metal. And you talked about opera singers thrashing, which I found very interesting. What do you mean by symphonic metal?
Yeah, so it's basically like a European genre of music. It's, like the typical metal band, except throw in like extra piano melodies and operatic singers, usually female singers too.
Wow.
So it's an
interesting
combination.
idea. Julia Fearon, you jumped in to, and you should have done that, to answer that musical theater question because you love musical theater and classical music. How'd you get into classical music?
My mother introduced me to it.
You said she plays a really fun game with you in the car.
Yeah, we're listening to the radio, and usually it's classical radio.
Uh-huh.
And she covers up the little screen that tells you what the composer is, and then she has me guess.
How often do you get it right?
Oh, I'd say maybe 7 out of 10.
That's really good. For someone in your age bracket, that's very good. Congratulations. Let's get back to the game, you guys. The next toss-up, we're tied. This is fun. His birthplace is one of Salzburg's major tourist attractions. Who was this Austrian composer of Don Giovanni? Jason.
Bizet.
No, you can steal. Reardon. Julia knows. She's hitting Jason hard.
Mozart.
That is right. For 25 points, Tamino uses the title instrument of which other Mozart opera to rescue the Queen of the Night's daughter?
The flute.
I need a little bit more. It's the magic flute. The magic flute. Here's your next toss-up. This British city's cathedral is part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Canterbury.
That's right, Julia. For 25 points, which Archbishop of Canterbury was murdered in 1170 by Knights of Henry II? Jason, your answer?
No answer.
It's Thomas à Becket. Here's your next toss-up. Electrum, brass, and steel are solid solutions that display metallic properties. What's the 5-letter term for such metallic mixtures? Isaac.
Alloy.
Right, for 25 points. Steel is an alloy of iron with what non-metallic element? You can talk it over.
Carbon.
That was
Carbon.
Yes, for 50 points. Some alloys are created for the purpose of enhancing a metal's ability to be drawn out into a thin wire, a property known by what name?
Malleability.
No, we're looking for ductility. Ductility. Next toss-up. The emperors Vespasian and Titus oversaw the construction of what largest Roman amphitheater used for public... Yes, Jason.
Colosseum.
Correct. For 25 points. In 81-26, Hadrian rebuilt what building that was originally commissioned by Marcus Agrippa as a temple to all the gods of Rome?
Temple of Zeus. Where's that thing? I think it's Zeus.
Your answer, Jason.
Temple of Zeus.
No, the Pantheon. And that's the end of the round. It's close. Mills has 70. Reardon has 85. We'll be right back for the final round of the game. Welcome back. Let's give a hand to the coaches for both of these great teams. First from Archbishop Reardon, Mr. John Alsbach. And missing from our stage, but not from our hearts, from Mills High School, Mr. Grant Paul. Thank you, coaches, very much for all you do. All right, it's a close game. So, Mills, there were 7 questions in the category, and you only need 1 to take the lead. So the more you get right, the more work you're going to make for Archbishop Reardon to win this game. All you have to do is pick a category. The questions are worth 30 points, and the categories today are what characters, name change, and carve out a win.
What characters?
What characters? All right. These are literary characters, and I want you to think about the name of the author who wrote multiple works featuring these literary characters, okay? Who wrote works featuring the swordsman D'Artagnan?
Oh, Dumas. Dumas.
That is right. Who wrote works featuring the tomboy turned schoolmistress, Jo March? Jo March.
What's her name?
Your answer?
Beckett.
No, it's Louisa May Alcott, Little Women. Who wrote multiple works featuring David Webb, better known as Jason Bourne?
Oh, crap. I don't know his name.
And your answer?
Johnson.
No, Robert Ludlum. Who wrote multiple works featuring the character Dr. John H. Watson?
Holmes. No, yeah, Doyle.
Yes, Arthur Conan Doyle. Who wrote about the evil Lord Voldemort?
Rowling.
Yes, J.K. Rowling, exactly. Who wrote about Bertie Wooster and his man Jeeves?
Bertie.
Your answer, Jason?
Hardy.
No, it was P.G. Wodehouse. And finally, who wrote about the werewolf Jacob Black?
Oh, Stephanie Meyer.
Stephanie Meyer. Jenny knows that. Stephanie Meyer. You got 4 right. You're at 190. I think you need to get 4 or 5 to win. My math's not so good at this moment. Just pick out a category we're in, name change, or carve out a win.
Carve out a win.
Carve out a win. These are sculptural terms. Give these terms used by sculptors, all right? This is the white metamorphic rock used for Michelangelo's David.
Granite.
No, marble. It's marble. This is a portrait showing a subject's torso and head.
Bust.
A bust is right. The genre of statues with subjects on horseback. Your answer? These are equestrian statues. Equestrian statues. This is an alloy of copper and tin often used for statues.
Bronze. Bronze.
That is right, bronze. The metal whose purity is measured in carats.
Diamond. Gold.
Now, I'm sorry, I have to take the first answer I heard. The answer is gold. The sculpture in which figures partially protrude from a mostly flat background.
Granite.
No, bas relief. And finally, kinetic sculptures moved by air currents.
Mobile.
Mobiles are correct, but you do not score enough. Mills wins the game. Congratulations, Mills. Well played, Archer Sheridan, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.